Salute, MobTube. How is everybody today? Let's see. Okay, so let me explain. First of all, I had this show scheduled on Shanna's channel by accident. I don't know how I did that. But thanks to good old Miss Can't Be Wrong, I saw her in the chat saying this is Shanna's channel. I said, uh-oh, and I went and fixed it. So now we're on FBS's channel. So it's going to be a while till we get some people in here because they were all waiting on the wrong channel, you know? Hi, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Thank you for saving me. I'm sure you were. So it'll be a little bit till we get some people in here. But we're going to do an addiction and recovery stream today. Jesse Roth, Dave, Miss Can't Be Wrong. How you doing? We'll just have to wait a few minutes to, get a decent crowd. Let me put this up. Do I have that in a... there we go. That's better. That one that I first put up was from Labor Day, apparently. So we're off to a running start here. We're doing great. My apologies, guys. My apologies. Once again, I was rushing, as usual. I had to shave my dumb head and my stupid face, well, to some extent, and get down here so I could start the show by 4 o'clock. And I failed miserably. But regardless, here we are. We're all together now. We could do a show. Brooklyn Rob 1, Redheaded Stepchild, Pete the Killer, Batchelder Street, Michael Hensley, Joe Root. We love you too, Michael. 36 people so far. Tony Pizza would be very happy with that turnout. Real good one last night, the debut of Kane Shade's character by FBS. Glad you liked it. I'll do more of that later. You can guarantee it. Steve Blair, $10. Thank you very much, Steve. My man. Thank you, thank you. Who else we got? Silvio Dante, how are you? Give me a minute or two and I'll get going. I want to tell you guys a little story, actually. A little story that I touched on last night. I've never gone that deep into this story. I've never really told you guys everything I experienced during this, I guess you could call it, situation I was in with the psych ward, of course. I'm going to tell it to you from an addiction perspective, what I was going through physically, mentally, everything else. I didn't tell you guys that. All I ever told you about was the story of how I wound up there. So I'm going to tell you more about what happened while I was there, because last night I brought it up because Kane Shades was trying to make fun because I didn't punch a guy in the face when I was all doped up on benzodiazepines. You guys probably heard it. So it had me thinking about that story. Thank you, Kane Shades. You gave me yet another show, and I appreciate it. It had me thinking about that story. And I was like, wow, you know what? Like, that was without a doubt one of the worst, most terrifying experiences of my lifetime. It was painful, mentally, physically, and emotionally, every way you can imagine. Okay. It was not fun. I would take a year in jail before another week in a psych ward. I'll tell you that much. And that's no bullshit. So I'm going to tell you guys that story. Now, most people would never do this. Most people on MobTube would say, no. We can't tell them a story that personal. It could really, it could really wind up, being used against them. Yeah, they'll use it. Yeah, they'll use it at me and make. I don't care. I don't care. This is for addiction and recovery. Uh, this is not for entertainment. This is to try to help in some way, give you guys a little comfort, let you know you're not alone. So I figure, thank you, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I figure this is a good story to tell. M. Soretti, how are you? War, Mr. H, Charm City. Salute, guys. Edward Everett, Majorly Awesome. Yeah, yeah. Jesse Roth, FBS, real quick. Tuesday came and went. It sure did. It sure did. No paperwork thus far. Of course not. No, that's true, Miss Can't Be Wrong. That's absolutely true. But I figured I would tell you this story, and some of it I will be repeating because I told you parts of it before. You know what I mean? But I can't tell the story without starting from the beginning and going the whole way to the end. I'm going to tell you not only what happened while I was in the psych ward, but what happened afterwards. And I think you guys will enjoy this story. It's a shame. It's a shame we don't have more people for this addiction and recovery stuff we do, because I would actually like even more people to hear this. But don't worry, I'm sure a lot of other people will watch it. All right. Well, listen, we got 44 people. Okay. This is my screw up. I had no idea I scheduled the show on Shanna's channel originally. So people were probably waiting for that. And then I had to instantly switch it over to this channel and then start the show right away. So I messed up. What are you going to do? I'm putting this off as long as possible, telling this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Yeah, absolutely, Miss Can't Be Wrong. That is how we are designed. Yep. Yep, to protect ourselves from pain. So I need you to understand there's certain names and just certain people in general that I have to leave out of this story. I have no choice. I'm not going to tell other people's business. Okay. But I'm going to tell it to the best of my ability without involving anyone else, incriminating anyone, anything like that, or giving too many details about my own damn self and things I may have done that led up to this experience. I have to be careful. Dave, $10. So cool how open and honest you are. It's a good quality. Thank you, Dave. Listen, I've always said I'm a student of Howard Stern. Okay. That's one thing about Howard that made him who he was. He would come on and tell you about anything in his life, his wife's miscarriage, anything. You knew who he was. You knew everything about him. You knew about him going to therapy. You knew about any health issues he may have had. You knew about problems with his wife. You knew about problems with his kids. So when I started this channel, I always knew that if it ever turned into anything, I was going to have to talk a lot about myself, which I did. And a lot of it was used against me, but I don't care. I don't care because, like I said, I have all the confidence in the world now, and I know that anything I went through led me to this point, and I couldn't be happier in life. So, miserable people can use it against me. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt me. I've been through too much. I've been through too much in my life. Most of these people, these NBs, and these other trolls, MREs, Cane Shades, all these clowns, Angel, they haven't been through a tenth of what I've been through in my life. So when people ask, how have you not lost your mind on MobTube yet? Because the problems I'm used to, the issues, the beefs, the arguments, the fighting, that was my real life for decades. You know what I'm saying? So to do it on the internet is no more than a game to me. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't care about threats. It's just who I am. So here we go. I'm going to tell you this story now. As you guys know, right? Before I got clean and sober, I was living in a hotel for about 8 months, 10 months, something like that. I forget exactly what it was. I think I was there from October to June. So that. All right, 8, 9 months, something like that. Okay. So I was living there for a lot of different reasons. Okay. And I was, as you know, killing myself while I was there with drugs and alcohol, and a bunch of stuff happened. I wound up in rehab. But that's not the first time. Okay. That's not the first time that I was staying in a hotel. That's the first time I lived in one, but certainly not. Just block that guy, please. Just, but certainly not, the first time I was staying in one for reasons that are out of the ordinary. Most people won't ever be staying in a hotel for the reasons I was. Okay. But like I said, I can only tell you so much. I will tell you this. Uh, I was going through a terrible breakup. Worst breakup of my lifetime. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was horrible, right? And there was a lot of fighting going on. I had some anger about some other people that I thought were involved in that breakup, might have been responsible for it. And one of them I decided to take revenge on one day. Okay. And I ran after this guy. I was living in New York City. I went to West York armed, okay, and ready to kill somebody. That's just what I did. When I got there, I saw the person, that I was angry at. And I took some shots at him. Okay. Now, the people in my life, they were afraid that I was going to kill myself or somebody else. And they were right. I was going to kill one of us. One of us was going to die. There's no doubt about it. The person I was gunning for, I was dead serious and ready to do what I had to do, and happy to do it. So anyway, I did that, right? But I got to backtrack a little bit, because this is what happened during this breakup. When things were going really, really bad, there was a lot of fighting and arguing. I decided to leave and go to a hotel. Oddly enough, the same hotel that I wound up living in for 9 months or whatever it was before I went to rehab. Okay. So that hotel has played a role in my life. Matter of fact, in 1999, when I got arrested on the felony warrant from the drug task force for a sale I made, I was at that hotel, and we had stayed past checkout time. We were passed out in the room. That same hotel. Okay. And they broke the door down. The cops not broke it down, but they broke it open. Okay. Because we would not answer. They didn't know what was going on. All right. They came into the room. They, obviously woke us all up, had us get dressed, and fucking, we had a party the night before. So they started IDing us. Right. Now, I pretended not to have my ID. And I told them that I was someone else, a friend of mine. Okay. So they ran his name, and he had a warrant. And so I'm like, oh, shit. So then I told him I lied. That's not my name. My real name is Chris Lodrago. Okay. Once I did that, it was even worse, because they were like, you have a felony warrant from the York County Drug Task Force, and we have to arrest you. Okay. So they arrested me, took me in, all that stuff. So this hotel has played a terrible role in my life. Right. That was the first time. So the second time, leading up to this psych ward thing, I had left the house I was living in and the person I was living there with. I went to this hotel and I stayed there for maybe a week. Okay. But there was other reasons too. I knew that the cops may have been looking for me for some stuff, things like that. I didn't want anybody to know where I was. Nobody. Matter of fact, I had a friend check me into that hotel with his ID. So nobody even knew, even if they called hotels to find me, they wouldn't have found me. I wasn't under my name. So I'm in this hotel, and I'm doing a lot of crazy shit. I'm doing a lot of crazy shit. I'm first of all, snorting myself stupid, drinking, like a motherfucker. I was not eating. I was not eating at all. I was basically, when you're to that level of alcoholism, you don't eat anymore. Even if you want to, you can't, because you'll just vomit it up. Okay. And I need people to understand this was not the level of alcoholism to where the withdrawal is painful. This is the level of alcoholism to where the withdrawal will kill you. I was so bad. I was drinking probably 3/4 of a gallon of vodka a day. And I'm not exaggerating. I had a half a gallon. I would always kill a half gallon in a day, and then I'd get started on another half gallon. Okay, usually get about halfway through before I passed out for a few hours, woke up from withdrawal, and had to start all over again. So that's how bad it was. I mean, and well, like I said, there's certain things I can't get into, but I was doing a lot of other shit. I was breaking the law left and right. But my plan was to get out of this hotel and get myself somewhere else, out of state. I was going to basically go on the run because I knew I was, in trouble for some things, whatever. At least I thought I was. So anyway, this thing happened. Okay. This thing happened where I confronted, I guess you could say, the person I was angry at. This was a big deal, pretty serious crime. I knew I was in trouble. People knew. There was people around when I did what I did, people in the neighborhood. Luckily, nobody told on me. But my family knew that I had to be taken off the street. I had to be taken off the street where something bad was going to happen. So they tried to talk to the cops, and the cops basically said, listen, there's nothing we could do, because they weren't going to tell on me for any crimes. They were just trying to get the cops to arrest me, to get me off the street. And the cops are like, listen, he's a grown man. We can't arrest him for being an alcoholic. He can be an alcoholic all he wants, unless he drives drunk or does something like that. There's nothing we could do. By the way, that's one of the things I got in trouble for. Again, this story might be all over the place, but I remember things as I go. So one day I leave this fucking hotel, and I was, I had a weapon and a whole lot of cocaine under the seat of the rental car I was using. And I went to pull out of this hotel. Little did I know, because I had been to this hotel a million times. We used to have parties there all the time. Yeah, Tony Ducks, 2006 going into 2007, right at the end of 2006. Sorry I didn't add that before. I'm not the best storyteller. So anyway, one of the days, this is just one of the things that happened when I was in the hotel. Little did I know they put a sign up on George Street in York that said no left turn. That was brand new. I was used to turning left onto George. I had no fucking reason to think I couldn't. And they put this little sign up that I just didn't notice. So I'm at the stop sign. I'm getting ready to turn left. I have my blinker on, right? And the fucking cop is coming down the street, and he stops. So he basically stops traffic behind him, and he waves me on. So I turned left. Well, he set me up. You know what I mean? Because he wanted to pull me over. So he, purposely encouraged me to turn left. So I turned left, boom, pulled me over. It was 4:00 in the afternoon. I had alcohol in my breath like a motherfucker. I was dirty as could be. The car had drugs and weapons and shit in it. I wound up, the cop, as soon as he smelled my breath and shit, he took me out, gave me a breathalyzer test, which I thought I passed with flying colors. He did not agree. Okay. So this cop decided that I got a DUI. Now, he wanted to take me to the police station. But here's the thing. That day, the reason I was leaving the hotel at 4 PM and I was armed is because I was making yet another attempt to kill somebody. Okay. There was somebody I was after, and I found out where they were, and that's where I was heading. So I don't believe in God. You know that. But whatever took place to stop me that day, I was much better off getting a DUI than what would have happened if I didn't. So they wanted to take me in for blood tests and shit. And I said, no, because I was determined that I was going to get back in that car and go do what I had to do. Okay. No fucking way. I'm not going. I refuse. Well, here's the thing. If you refuse, yeah, I know. This can't be wrong. You ain't kidding. Yeah, I am now too. If you refuse, and this is just part of having a Pennsylvania driver's license. Basically, it's on the back of the license. You agree, that you will submit to any blood tests, breathalyzer test, anything like that. If a cop asks you to, if you're pulled over, and if you don't, you lose your license. So the cop told me, well, you can either go in and get the blood test, or we're going to take you in and book you, and then you'll be let go to go home, whatever. But you're going to lose your license for a year, right? And you're going to get the highest grade DUI, which is there's tiers in PA: first tier, second tier, third tier. Third tier is obviously the most serious. So if you don't give them blood, they just assume you have the highest level of alcohol in your system, and that's what they charge you with. So he told me, I'm being charged with DUI no matter what. I'm going to be taken and booked no matter what. So there's no way I'm getting back in that car, especially since, they knew I was under the influence. I still opted out of going for a blood test. They took me in and booked me. Right. Now, there's some stuff I left out. This traffic stop lasted quite a while. They wanted to search the car. Okay. At least one of the cops mentioned it. I talked about this in another story before. I basically went berserk and started flipping out. So their only concern would be to get me the fuck out of there, and they wouldn't be so concerned with searching the car. And luckily, they didn't. Luckily. Okay. So I go get booked. I had a friend pick me up. Now, here's the crazy part. After I did that thing in the alley, see, I'm all over the place. This isn't going well. Well, I'll just say this. After I did that thing in the alley, I tossed the weapon. Okay, I tossed it because I wasn't about to go back home with it. So I had a family member go and get that weapon. All right. I just wanted to, because like I said, I remember things as I go. So anyway, I get booked. I'm free again. Okay. And I'm back to my crazy shit. And what I had decided is that was time after that DUI. Now it was time to get the fuck out of here. Okay. To get out of PA. Because I knew that thing I did was going to come back on me eventually. I knew there was going to be some issues. So at this time, there wasn't smartphones and GPS. And well, there might have been GPS, but I didn't have it. But there was no smartphones, none of that. If you wanted directions, you had to go get them, okay, or you had to print them out or from a computer on the internet, something like that. You know what I mean? And I didn't have a computer available to me. So I went to the hotel and I told them where I wanted to go. And where I wanted to go was Wildwood, New Jersey. This was my favorite place. I love Wildwood. Okay, I spent as much time there as I could every summer, even in the winter. It was just my fucking happy place. And it was where I went anytime things got so bad that I needed to clear my fucking head. You know what I'm saying? So well, all right, I went to the front desk of the hotel and I told them I needed directions to this place. And they were nice enough to look it up on the computer and print out directions for me. Okay, so I had those. I was all ready to go. But I was still selling coke and doing my shit, still trying to make money, whatever. Well, one night, my ex, my cell phone died, and I wanted to, I was drunk and I wanted to call my ex and fucking scream at her. You know how you get when you're going through a breakup. I wanted to call her and fucking scream at her. So I called her from the hotel because my cell phone was dead. Well, I didn't press *67 or anything. And as soon as she picked up, she said, I know where you are now. It showed up on my caller ID. So I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to get out of here tonight. Tonight. Okay. So there was a couple of things I had to do first. So I went out. There was somebody I had to meet. Okay. And I was so fucking paranoid. You got to remember, I was out of my mind with drugs and shit. So I would carry stuff on me because I was always afraid somebody would get into the room and take it, whatever. You know what I mean? So at this point, I didn't have, I had a gun, but it was in the room. Okay, that I didn't take with me. I took a lot of coke with me, though. Not a lot, but I mean enough to get you, in big trouble. It was 18 grams. Okay, I believe it was 18 grams. So I leave the hotel. I go do what I got to do. When I get back to the hotel, a friend of mine, actually my best friend in the world. Yes, Joseph Montanaro, exactly, yeah. My best friend in the world. You know what I mean? Love this guy. Till this day. I just talked to him a few days ago. Love this dude. You know what I mean? He's a brother to me. There's nothing I wouldn't do for this guy. So I see him standing in the lobby of the hotel, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go in. I said, what's up, bro? He was like, what's up, man? I found out where you were. I couldn't get a hold of you. You weren't answering my calls, which I wasn't. I wasn't answering anybody's. He said, but, I was thinking maybe we could go hang out, get a drink, and talk. I know you got a lot on your mind. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? I said, just let me go up to the room, and I'll tell you why. My withdrawal was so severe that I was going through withdrawal while I was drinking. I'm not kidding. Unless I had enough in me to calm that withdrawal. I would literally still be sick while I'm drinking because my body wasn't getting enough. It's the same thing with pills and shit. Look at heroin addicts. Heroin addicts can't get better off a bag once they're used to doing a bundle a day. It might soothe their withdrawal a tiny bit, but barely. Same thing with alcohol. Okay. Your body can't be used to having, 10, 12 shots at a time in there. And then you're running around all day and you're only taking a shot here and there. Shit like that. It makes you sick. So I got back to the hotel. I saw my friend. My friend told me he wanted to sit down and have a drink or something. I said, fine. I said, just wait here. I didn't want him to go up to the room. The room was a mess. I had trashed it like a couple days before out of anger. I didn't want him to see the room. I said, just wait in the lobby. I'm going to go up to the room and I'll be back. And the reason I went up to the room was to stash the coke because I wasn't going to bring the coke to a bar. So I stashed it under the mattress in the hotel. Okay. And then I took a big swig of vodka because I was sick. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I couldn't wait to get to a bar or something. So I drank some vodka. I go back downstairs and he says to me, I'm like, let's go. And he's sitting down and I'm like, let's go, bro. Let's go to a bar or something. There was a bar like 2 blocks away. He was like, well, let's just hang out here for a few minutes. So this is all odd to me. I'm like, the fuck? Hang out here? Why? But I said, all right, I guess he's got a reason for it. So we're sitting there for maybe, I wouldn't even say 3 fucking minutes. Okay. And all of a sudden I see, I don't see any cars, but I see the cops, about 8 of them. Okay. They come in through the front door. So I'm like, they got me. I'm done. But oddly enough, they walked right past me. 4 of them went up the staircase. Well, the stairway. And the other 4 took an elevator. So I'm like, what the fuck? This is odd. I wonder what's going on. So we're sitting there talking, me and my friend, and here they come back down. So I looked at my friend and I said to him, are they here for me? And he said, I don't know. And they just fucking they just bum rushed me. Literally. I had one of those flight jackets on, the black satiny one with the fucking orange inside. I had that on, and I was sitting there with my hands in my pockets. Well, that's why they bum rushed me. See, when my family went to the judge to tell the judge that I was a danger to myself or others, because this is, I skipped over that part, but this is how they figured out how to get me locked up. When they spoke to the cop and they were trying to get me off the street, the cop said, we can't take him off the street for being an alcoholic. But if you think he's a danger to himself, you can go to a judge, sign an affidavit, whatever it is, and get a 302 warrant, which is a psychiatric commitment warrant, where they'll pick me up and put me in a psych ward for a minimum of 7 days. Okay. So when they did that, they told the judge that I'm always armed. You got to be careful because Chris is always armed. He always has a weapon on him. Okay. So that's why the cops bum rushed me. They fucking pulled my hands out of my fucking pocket. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. They pulled my hands out of my pocket so fucking fast they almost ripped my arms off. Okay, because they figured I was holding a gun in one of the pockets, which I wasn't. And luckily, the coke was upstairs. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They start arresting me. I'm thinking it was for the incident or something. And the cop said, some people are concerned about you. Okay, so they throw me on, face first on the ground. They fucking handcuff me behind my back. They lift me up. And all I'm thinking about now is they're going to search the room. And if they search that room, I am fucked. Okay, so I said to the cop, can my friend take the room key so he can clean out my room, please? And the cop said, yeah. So my friend reached in my pocket and took the key. All right. Needless to say, everything was taken care of. Thank you, my friend. All right. But they bring me to the goddamn psych ward. All right. Well, not at first. They bring me to the hospital. They bring me to York Hospital. And they put me in this fucking room. And this room is all white and it's padded. And I mean tiny. Fucking half the size of this room. Not even. It's smaller than that. It's the size of a fucking tiny jail cell. There's like a fucking rubber mattress on the floor. That's it. And they got me laying down on this mattress and I'm still handcuffed. So I'm fucking handcuffed, and all of a sudden I hear my mother's voice outside the door. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I still didn't know. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a 302 warrant. That was one thing I didn't know about. So I'm like, what is happening? What am I doing? Like, and I'm under the influence enough that I'm not all with it. I got a lot of cocaine in my system, a lot of alcohol, but I'm still feeling sick. It was fucking terrible. Okay, terrible. So they keep me in there for about an hour or two, and I hear my mother talking. I hear the doctors. I hear the nurses. I hear certain other family members of mine, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So they came in and they told me, we might keep you here, but we might not. You have to get an evaluation. Okay, so they take me up to the psych ward, and they bring me to, I guess, I don't know if it's a counselor's office, whatever, whoever makes the decision. They sat me down with her and she asked me a bunch of questions. And I went into bullshitter mode, which I am a fucking, listen, when I need to be, I'm a class A bullshitter. I'm a master fucking manipulator. I will never deny that. Okay. I'm a master at it. Little did I know, though, these people have dealt with master manipulators before. And they go by your behavior, your movements, your fucking your attitude, all these different things. That's what helps them decide. They're not going to believe a word you say. So she's asking me all kinds of questions. Have you tried to hurt anyone else? No, I would never do such a thing. Have you tried to hurt yourself? No, of course not. I'm as happy as could be. Are you addicted to drugs? Yeah, I'm addicted to cocaine. Are you addicted to alcohol? Sure. I can't deny that. But I answered all the questions. I don't remember half of them. I was out of it, of course. Now, that's all I remember until I woke up. Okay, next thing I know, I wake up. Let me see this. Bro, in New York, if they 5150 you and it's non-voluntary, they take your gun rights away for 5 years. If it happens twice within a year, banned for life. I didn't know that, Sonny Money. Thanks for the info. I think as far as federal law is concerned, once you're involuntarily committed, you're finished. There's no more gun rights, but I'm not sure. I couldn't care less. I lost my Second Amendment right when I was 19, so it's whatever. So anyway, I wake up and I'm in this room, and this is the story Kane Shades was trying to make fun of. I'm in this room, but there was this nurse. I think she was a nurse. She was holding my hand. Okay, she was sitting on a chair next to the bed, and she was holding my hand. And she was talking to me. It was so odd. Like I almost would have thought I imagined it, but I had later experiences with this lady speaking to her, and I actually did something very nice for her after I left the psych ward. But she was like a mother figure. She's sitting there like trying to calm me and explain what's going on, and she tells me everything's going to be okay. Sweetest fucking lady. I mean, this lady at that time is the closest thing to a guardian angel I could ever imagine. But she had to leave the room. She leaves the room, and here's this big motherfucker. Big. I'm not fucking playing. I mean, this dude had to be, I don't know, I'm going to say 6'4", 6'5", giant guy. Not real muscular, but big, fucking, big hulky guy. So this guy starts talking to me. He's shaving at the time, right? And he's looking in the mirror, shaving, then he's looking back at me. And he's looking in the mirror, shaving. He's got one of those razors they give you like in jail or a psych ward, whatever. And he starts talking to me about his son and how first of all, I told him some of my problems and why I figured I was in there. And then he started telling me that this was so fucking strange that that he used to tell his son when his son, because a lot of my issues were with a woman and due to a breakup, he would tell his son, well, why don't you just have sex with me? This is when his son was going through the same type of issues, breakups and stuff. Okay. Now, I know some of you heard this story before, but I'm like, okay, so this guy just told me that he once told his son, at least on one occasion, that he should have sex with him. And then he tells me I remind him of his son. Now, again, when I woke up, I was as out of it as could be. That's why, to an extent, I thought I was imagining this woman even being there. I thought it was in my head. I didn't even think she was real because she was like like an angel, the way she was taking care of me. So I'm so fucking doped up. So doped up because they give you, my heart was, I'll give you an example later on in the story. I'm going to tell you how bad it was. My heart was so out of control from withdrawal. And like I said, I might have been diagnosed when I was 35, but I'm pretty sure I always had some sort of heart issue. It runs in my family. I never had the wind my friends did. You know what I mean? Like I always knew there was something, not right with my heart. But when I went through withdrawal, it's the same reason why in 99 they had to snow me with Ativan and put me in a coma. My heart rate wouldn't get below 164, 168, something like that. So they had to fucking put me in a coma to slow my heart down. Well, years later, it was the same type of situation. My heart was out of control. So before, I guess before they even put me in this room, after I talked to this counselor, they gave me a ton of Valium. So when I woke up, I'm all fucking out of it. And this guy is telling me this story. Now, I'm useless. Not only from the Valium and stuff, but you got to realize anybody who's been through severe alcohol withdrawal, you're literally like this. Like you can't even your insides are shaking. You're retching, vomiting. You're a physical disaster. There's nothing you could do. You ain't going to be able to defend yourself. Between the Valium and between that, you're sick as could be. I got myself out of that room, okay? And I got into another room. The problem is the other room was worse. The room that this dude was in was like a regular room with 2 beds, a little bathroom, a mirror, some shelving, stuff like that. It was like a regular hospital room. The room they put me into was for like the worst of the worst. You know what I mean? Like people who need to be basically locked up. Okay, that they can't be trusted to even walk around. Every time they come out of the cell, they have to be with a guard. You know what I mean? That type of room. Well, they didn't put me in there for those reasons. It's just that I insisted on getting a different fucking room, and that's the only one they had. So now I'm in this fucking cell. One of the scariest fucking things I've ever seen. I mean, you want to talk about a bare room with nothing fucking in it. No, you know, even in jail, they have a little bench, a sink, a toilet, some shelves, certain things, sometimes a locker, you got your bunks, whatever. This shit was a concrete slab with a rubber mattress on it, and the rest of the room was padded. Everything else was gray, and there was a camera right above the bed. So even when you're, in bed, no matter what you're doing, if you're using because there is a toilet and sink, like a stainless steel one, like a jail cell, that's right by the door. So, like, no matter what you're doing, you're being watched. Okay. So I'm in this fucking room, and I'm going through this withdrawal, and they keep giving me Valium. It's not enough. I keep telling them that. So I'm as sick as fucking could be. I'm suffering in there. I couldn't sleep even with the Valium because it got worse. The alcohol withdrawal gets worse over time. It doesn't get better. So now I'm to the stage where I'm in so much pain and shit. I couldn't even fucking sleep. At one point, I do pass out a little bit. And when I wake up, one of my good friend's wives, who is also the mother of a couple of kids that me and my ex used to babysit, kids that were like best friends with my daughter. You know what I mean? It was their mother, my friend's wife. She worked in the ER doing admissions. Okay. And I guess she found out I was in there. She saw my name. So after she got off, she came up and they let her visit me. They actually let her into the room. And she was sitting on this bed, if you want to call it that, just looking at me. And I'm in tears from the withdrawal, from the pain I'm in. And, I was so, if you guys could see me, from all the alcohol withdrawal and stuff, my lips had gotten so dry that they had cracked. My lips are all split up. I had been punching walls and shit when I was flipping out before I went into the hospital. So my knuckles were all cut up. And I had this platelet issue going on that I can't even explain myself because I still don't understand it. But my platelets were so low that my blood would just clot. I wouldn't bleed. So when I went into the hospital, all over my elbows and fists and everything, my knuckles, I had these cuts that were completely black because that's what happens when you're having this type of issue, when your platelets are so low. As soon as you get cut, it turns into a blood clot and it gets black. So I had them every fucking where. I couldn't have looked worse. My beard was grown out. My fucking hair, I was a disaster. So I remember looking at her and thinking, holy shit. The last time I saw her, I was the fucking man. I hadn't seen her for a few months. I had my DJ business still going. I had, the fucking expensive clothes, jewelry, my fucking, my cars, I had it made, in other words. I was the fucking man. And all of a sudden I'm looking at this woman and I'm just emotionally destroyed. Like, I what the fuck? I need her to see me like this. Anyway, she said some kind words, gave me a hug, and left. I believe it was later that day. Now, I can't give you guys a timeline because the condition I was in, I can't tell you which day was which. And all I could tell you, I was there for a total, I believe, of 7 days. Okay. So either later that day or the next day, I wake up in this cell and my fucking heart is going through my chest. My heart is like, it must have been 200 fucking beats a minute. So I go to the door, which is locked, and I'm pounding on the fucking door. So a nurse and a security guard come and open the door, and the nurse puts her arm around me, and I can barely stand. I'm pouring fucking sweat. I'm heaving. You're just dry heaving. You know what I mean? My fucking hands are like this. My heart rate was through the fucking roof. So she puts me on the blood pressure monitor thing. I don't know what my blood pressure was. All I know is that they had no Valium left up there. They didn't even realize it at the time. They're trying to get Valium, and they don't have any. So, it was either a nurse or a doctor, an orderly. I don't remember the details, and as time goes on, I forget more and more, but they called it into the pharmacy, which was like 8 or 9 floors down in the hospital. And it was either the nurse, the doctor, or an orderly. I can't fucking remember. I think it was a nurse, but she ran on foot down to the fucking pharmacy to get this Valium. Okay. Brought it back up, and they gave me, I don't even know. Oh, that maybe they were high. I don't majorly awesome. I don't understand the platelet thing. They explained it to me, but I don't remember. Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense, but it clots, right? It clots, right? Because they told me when they tested my blood and they said the platelets were all fucked up, whatever they were. They said that it was so bad that if I banged my elbow by accident, I could bleed internally. They said you have to be very careful. You can't hit anything. You can't bump into anything. You could bleed out. You could die. So anyway, they get me the Valium, and they pump me full of Valium. They put me back in the room, and I pass out. Now, they got to the point where they gave me the Valium. I don't know if it's called PRN, something like that. You can basically ask for it. Like, they'll give you your dose. They might give me, say, 30 milligrams. But they left it up to me then, because they saw that they were not monitoring me as close as they should have been, because my heart should have never got to the fucking point it did that day. So basically they told me, listen, we're going to let you decide, okay? Be as honest as you can, but if you're really in pain, the withdrawal is really, really bad, tell us and we'll give you another 10 milligrams. Well, all I wanted to do was sleep. This was a horrible fucking, I'm not even going to lie, call me a pussy, terrifying experience. I had been to jail. Jail is nothing like a psych ward. Psych wards, it's literally, it's a bunch of crazy fucking people. And I was not crazy. It's one thing if you're crazy and you're in there with crazy people. I wasn't crazy. I was just violent and dangerous and an alcoholic and a drug addict. You know what I mean? So it is like you see on movies, motherfuckers shuffling around, the Thorazine shuffle, people talking about the government, and it's a lot like Slob Tube, and it's fucking like, put it this way, if that was, say, rather than 2006, 2007, if that was, say, 3 or 4 years ago, the whole psych ward would have been filled with QAnon people. You know what I mean? It was like that. A bunch of fucking maniacs, lunatics, deranged people. So anyway, once they gave me the Valium where I could do PRN, I was taking advantage. I wanted, oh, you been there, Sonny? Yeah, bro. I wanted as much Valium as I could. So, you know me, like every half hour, I'm like, listen, can I get another 10? And they let me get away with that for a while, but eventually they started cutting me down. Hold on 1 second. Call the van, the Ativan. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I've seen it. It's a whole different kind of hell, FBS. It is. So, I'm sorry if this is boring you guys, but I want you to know what it was really fucking like. So anyway, once they start giving me the Valium more often and stuff, I start to get to the point where I could function a little. Now, I do know by this point a good 3 or 4 days had passed, okay, because it took a while. It got me to the point where I could start eating. All of a sudden, I started getting hungry again for the first time in a long time. I mean, hungry. And one day they bring me lunch, and it's like all kinds of shit. I mean, the only thing I could say about the psych ward is they would give you a menu every day, swear to God, and they would tell you could pick 18 items for your next meal. And every meal, they give you a menu for the next meal. And you just circle what you want. You get 18 items. Now, that doesn't mean you can get 18 cheeseburgers. Everything is an item. If you want a butter, that's an item. If you want cream for a coffee, that's an item. You know, shit like that. Sugar, that's an item, whatever. But still, you can pick 18 fucking things. And I was to the point where I was starving. Starving. So they brought me this meal. It was like burger and fries and a fruit cup and all kinds of different shit and milk and juice and all kind. And that's another thing. You could pick all kinds of drinks, whatever. I ate for the first time, really ate for the first time in I'd say at least a good few weeks. Okay. I mean, like I said, I wasn't eating for a while, but you know, I would eat things from here and there. I just wasn't eating any meals. I wasn't eating regularly. You know, I would eat enough to keep myself fucking alive, but for the most part, I couldn't eat when I was going through that horrible, you know, phase of alcoholism. So, man, I remember the only thing that excited me is they would give me the menu. And I would just fucking be like, oh my God, look at all this shit. Spaghetti and garlic bread. And listen, I'll give it to York Hospital. The psych ward, they don't fuck around. It's not just the psych ward, it's the whole hospital. Like my mother was in there recently and you get the same menu. But I'm like, shit, I'm ordering every fucking thing. Fuck butters and sugars. I want real food items, like whatever I could get. But the withdrawal was so fucking bad. So bad. Yeah, I'll drop the link for anybody who wants to share. Let me get through this story real quick. I'll do it as fast as I can. Poor you, FBS, you were starving. Imagine what you know who goes through when she misses one of her 6 daily feedings. Oh, shit, look at you. So, I know exactly who you're talking about. Tracy, you're one of a kind. So anyway, my hands were like this still. You know, I could not even circle the items on the menu. You want to talk about embarrassing. But it was nothing they never saw before. At this point, there was a security guard that saw me struggling, trying to fucking, you know, my hands bouncing off the paper while I'm trying to circle something with a fucking pencil. So he comes over, he puts his arm around me. He goes, what do you need, buddy? I got you. So I told him, can you just circle these things for me? I can't, you know, and just initial it for me because I can't use my hands. Okay. No joke. Guys, when you're going through severe alcohol withdrawal, your body is useless. It's a type of pain and suffering that I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. There's nothing fucking like it. And it's so frustrating and aggravating because you can't control your body. I'm assuming it's like having Parkinson's temporarily. You can't control your body. You just can't. I can't even imagine the frustration people with Parkinson's go through. Because I remember, you know, even for weeks after I left the psych ward, you know, I would still get the shakes. And it was like, I couldn't even write the check out for my rent. I had to call a friend over to fill out a check. You know what I mean? And I would go nuts, fucking breaking pens and flipping out, just trying to fill out a goddamn check. So anyway, the security guard helped me. You know, every time I got my menu, he would help me out. So I started eating again. So once they saw that I was eating and I would get up and walk around a little bit and talk to nurses and stuff, they finally brought a doctor in, my doctor. He was actually my psychiatrist who I had seen years before. My psychiatrist sat down and talked with me. I explained to him. I said, listen, I'm going through a terrible breakup. I told him as much as I could tell him. He finished up with me. And the next thing I know, they tell me they're going to move me to a different unit. Now, this is still in the psych ward, but it's like the minimum security version of a psych ward. And all I can tell you is it turned out to be worse. Way worse. They put me in a room with another guy. And what I found out is most of the people in this area of the psych ward were not there for psychiatric issues. They were there for heroin withdrawal. Okay. So people who are going through similar things I was going through. But they put me in a room with this guy, and there were some perks. You know, you could have your belt back, your shoelaces, things like that. You could wear your regular clothes again. You could get visitors more often. They had areas in the room where rather than like if your family say brings you snacks or food in the regular psych ward, you got to keep it with the nurses. You know what I'm saying? So you can you have to go up and ask them every time you need something. But in this different unit, they give you all your food and stuff. And you know, when you're going through that, like I said, I got to the point where I wanted to eat everything. So I had family bring me in like little Debbie's snack cakes and cookies and shit, just so I could eat whenever I wanted. I had something. So there was stuff like that. But I remember I went in the bathroom in this room. Now, this is where a lot of people are going through heroin withdrawal, which is similar to alcohol withdrawal. I go in the bathroom, and it's a huge bathroom, but there is just shit everywhere, piss everywhere. I'm assuming that my roommate got sick a lot from his heroin withdrawal and couldn't control himself. I don't know, but it was fucking disgusting. And me being the person I am, I snapped out on a nurse and told her, you got to get somebody to clean this shit. I don't even have a fucking bathroom to use. I went off. Anyway, to finish up the story, what happened is over the time that I was in there, once I started to get my wits about me and get back to a normal way of thinking, all I could think about was getting out of there. But other than that, I was reflecting on the things I had done in the few months before. You know what I mean? I was thinking about the things people put me through, the things I put myself through. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I totally and completely still had the intention of killing a motherfucker when I got out of it. I'm not lying. I was angry. But I knew I had to put on the best face I could, so to speak, with the doctors and shit. But I did a lot of thinking, and that was torture too. Let me tell you. When you're coming off a months-long alcohol and cocaine binge, and you broke laws and got arrested and got all kinds of shit, your fucking most important relationship, one of your most important relationships is over, and you know it. You got all this shit in your head, and now you got to deal with it sober and in a fucking psych ward. It's a nightmare. The emotional pain I went through in that 7 days, I'm telling you guys, it was a suffering I would never want to experience again. I would rather die. It was so fucking painful. But I knew I had to get out of there. And I planned on, killing somebody else and then killing myself. That was my plan. I just needed to get out of there to do it. So I started acting as normal as I could, talking, joking with people, laughing, making it look like I'm all better. So what they started doing the last couple of days, they would bring me to the doctor's office, and the doctor would check one thing, no lie. He would say, put out your hands. Okay? If my hands were shaking, he would say, you ain't going nowhere. He told me straight up, he said, listen, as long as you're going through withdrawal, you're going to be uncomfortable. And if you leave here and you're uncomfortable and you're sick, you're going to drink. Can't have that. I need to know you're over it. So I started thinking, my head's running a mile a minute. I believe it was that night or the next night, something like that. I went without asking for much Valium. Okay, I took as little as I could. So that, like I said, it was either that next morning or the morning after that. When I woke up, I went right to the nurse's station. And I said, listen, I didn't even take a late night dose of Valium last night. I need Valium. Okay. Because I knew I was going to be seeing the doctor, and I didn't want my hands to be shaking. Okay. So they brought me into the doctor. I put my hands out, and somehow, as Nicolas Cage said in Leaving Las Vegas, steady as a fucking rock. And once the doctor saw that, he said, you could discharge him. The nurse went off. The nurse was like, there's no way. There's no way. He still goes through withdrawal. I see him. He's still getting sick. He still shakes. It's just, he's not at the moment for whatever reason that we can't let him go. And basically, I didn't have insurance and they weren't having it. And the doctor said he's leaving today. So I went to my room. I got dressed. On the way out the door, the nurse tells me, she has my paperwork that they have to give me, my discharge papers and shit. She says, I have to tell you something. She said, when you came in here, your liver enzymes were like 196, something like that. It's been 7 days, and your liver enzymes are now 300 and whatever, the high 300s, 380 something, 390 something. I said, so what does that mean? She said, well, it means you either have alcohol-related hepatitis or liver disease. So now they're discharging me from the psych ward. I'm already half suicidal, and they tell me I'm dying. So I said, what does that mean? She said, well, all I can tell you is this. You got to get your liver enzymes checked monthly, okay? And if you start to get yellowing in your eyes or around your fingernails, whatever, you have to get yourself to a doctor right away. Get to a hospital. Okay, so I'm like, holy shit. So I get out of the hospital. I'm not going to lie to you guys. My mom was there to pick me up. I don't care what a pussy this makes me sound like. Every time I left jail, I left with a smile on my face, whatever. Nothing got me down that much. When I left that psych ward and got in the car with my mom, I fucking broke down. I don't think I ever cried like that in my fucking life. Because this experience, and it would take me all day to tell you everything that went on in that psych ward, but it was so terrible and terrifying. And just being in a psych ward, the fucking, the bars on the windows, you can't even see out the windows. The windows were like the foggy glass. All you could see is the bars on the other side of them. Everything is locked up. It's worse than a prison. There's lunatics walking around mumbling and shit. They're forcing you to exercise and do shit even though your body can't take it. Mentally, you're a wreck. Emotionally, you're destroyed. And you're left to face all the fucking things you did before you went in there. It's a nightmare. So I left the hospital. I got my mom's car and I fucking broke down, crying fucking hysterical. Even my mom was looking at me like she couldn't believe it because I never cried. Ever. But she took me back to my old house, the one that I left to go stay in the hotel for a week or so. And do I even have to tell you? I didn't drink. I didn't do any coke. But I had a plan. And my plan was to go to Wildwood. That's where I wanted to go. I don't know why. I just felt like it would. Now, this was January of 2007. Okay? It was fucking freezing. But I just wanted to look at the ocean. I didn't care where it was. I just needed to be at the ocean. And fucking Wildwood was my place. So, I packed up some shit. I got in the car. I stopped by my mom's house. I told her I was leaving. She looked me dead in the eyes or in the face with tears in her eyes and said, "Are you coming back?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know." And I got in the car. Now I had, at this point, you got to realize I had all the money in the world. I mean, not, I had a lot of fucking money. At that point in life, my credit score was like 786. I had fucking American Express cards in my wallet. I would apply for them just to see if I'd get approved, and then I would get them, but I didn't need them. I had so much cash from selling drugs and DJing and shit. I walked around with 5 G's in my pocket, always. Plus, I had thousands in my safe, thousands in my bank accounts. So I would get these credit cards and never even activate them. So I had a wallet full of credit cards. I had 2 American Express cards, one with $10,000, one with a $20,000 limit. Okay, so I was good. I could have gone anywhere and just stayed there and built an entirely new life. But that wasn't my plan. My plan was to end my life. So I get to Wildwood. I find this place called Montego Bay. Some of you guys might know it. Huge resort, beautiful fucking place, indoor water park, right on the boardwalk. You know what I mean? Overlooking the ocean. I got myself an oceanfront suite, which at that time of year then was like $60 a night. It was nothing. In the summer, it's like $400 or $500. Back then in the winter, $60, $70 a night. So I got myself this awesome room with the fucking balcony facing the ocean, the sliding glass doors, the whole nine. And they gave me 3 days worth of Librium. Okay, so I was in my head at this point. I didn't know where I wanted to go in life. I just knew I wanted to be at the fucking ocean and I needed to think. So I would fucking sit there in the room with the heat turned the whole way up and the sliding glass door open, just staring at the ocean. I just wanted to hear the ocean, so I would keep the door open. You know what I mean? And at night, I would go into the bedroom. It was a separate bedroom, and I would take a Librium. And if any of you guys know what Librium is, it's a benzodiazepine that's used solely, I believe, to control alcohol withdrawal. And it does the trick. You take a Librium and you might as well be drunk. I mean, it really works. But they only give you 3 days worth because it's so highly addictive. So I remember I went in the bedroom the first night and I passed out and I woke up. And there was no windows in the bedroom. So I didn't know what fucking time it was. It was like 10 a.m. I didn't know that. So I had slept probably the best night's sleep I had gotten in months, if not years. And I opened the door into the hotel, you know, from the bedroom into the rest of the room. And all I could see is the ocean through the balcony doors. And it was sunny. It was fucking beautiful. Beautiful. So I picked a pair of sneakers because even then I was a sneaker, you know, sneakerhead through and through. I picked a brand new pair of sneakers, Air Force Ones, put them on, got dressed, you know, and I fucking walked on the boardwalk. Boardwalk's empty in Wildwood that time of year. I walked for like a mile. You know what I mean? Freezing my ass off. But it was one of the best feelings I ever had, just staring at the ocean, thinking. Then I went back to the hotel and I decided I'm going to do some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to... I started to feel positive again. Like I started to feel like I wanted to live. So I went back to the hotel and I went around and fucked around in the arcade. And then after the arcade, I went down to the water park. And the water park is awesome. They got a big pool. They got two big slides. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in the water park and I'm like, I'm not going to say my daughter's name, but I was like, I want to show this to my daughter. Because we've been to Wildwood many times, but we never stayed at Montego Bay. Like, I want to show this to her. But I still didn't know what I wanted to do yet. But the way I was with my daughter, I did everything with her. Everything. That's one of the reasons I lost my mind when that breakup happened. Because for the first time in my life, I knew I wouldn't be seeing my daughter every day anymore. There would be a custody agreement. I would see her part of the time, and I just couldn't handle that. But I knew I wanted to bring my daughter to this place. I wanted her to see it. I wanted to play with her in the water park, have fun, whatever. So I stayed a couple more days. You know, I would wake up and make a decision when I woke up. And then I would just call the front desk and say, give me another night, you know. And the one night I drive to a liquor store. I can't remember the name of it, but anybody who knows Wildwood would know it as soon as you saw it. A big giant, it looks like a supermarket. I go to the liquor store and I'm thinking about drinking. Now, I hadn't done any Coke or drank it all. I had Coke. I had lots of it at my house. And I had the stuff that my friend took from the hotel room. I went and got it back. So I had, you know, what I needed. But I hadn't done anything. And then I was staring at the door of the liquor store and I'm trying to decide, do I want to go in there? You know what I mean? Do I want to go in there? I finally went in. I bought a bottle of Bacardi, a little like a pint. Okay. I put it in the trunk of my car. I drove back to the hotel. I didn't drink it. Next day I woke up, I decided it's time to go home. So I went home. I stayed at my house for a couple of days. I called my daughter's mom. I said, I want to bring my daughter to Wildwood. She had no problem with that. Knew she could trust me. Knew I was clean and sober at the time. I packed my stuff up. I got my daughter's stuff all packed up, picked her up. We went to Wildwood to Montego Bay, and we stayed there for a few days, played in the water park, had fun, went out to eat in Cape May, just had a fucking ball. You know what I mean? And I was ready to live again. But I couldn't fight the urge to get back to my old life. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to do coke, but I wanted to sell drugs. I wanted that lifestyle back. I wanted to be in ADAs, the members only club, till 4 a.m. I wanted to be making money. I wanted to be around my crowd, my friends. And I got right back into that. And I'm not going to go much further than that. I'm just going to tell you that's pretty much how it ended. I'll tell you this, I stayed clean for probably about a month, and then I started doing coke again. But I didn't drink till about 3 or 4 months later. At that time, I was living in my house, had a beautiful house on Madison Avenue in New York City. Fucking beautiful. Big fucking house. A friend of mine had just gotten 10 years. He had no place to go. Because when he got raided, they evicted him. So I told him, bro, he had like 3 weeks to report. I said, you can come live with me. So I had him living with me, and he was suicidal because he's going away to do 10 years. So he was drinking a lot of shit. One day I go down to the fridge. I open the fridge, and there's some Bacardi in there. It was my drink. So I started drinking again. But I had gone a few months without drinking. But I was still hustling and all that. I was, you know what I mean? Even before I started using coke again, it's amazing. I was able to sell it and have it on me and around me and cut it up and bag it and everything without using it. I went about a month. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's it. That's where I'm going to stop the story. Again, I hope that did not bore you guys to fucking death. But I told you that story because that is without a doubt one of the most painful experiences I ever went through. I would take jail over the psych ward any fucking day. I have sympathy for anyone who's ever been there. Okay. And I'm going to do everything in my power to never end up back there again. But I didn't go there for psychiatric issues. I know people would like to think that. I went there because I was dangerous and I wanted to hurt somebody. And I planned on it, and I was doing everything I could to take a person's life. That was my plan, and that's why I wound up there. Luckily, the people in my life understood certain things. They understood that I am a convicted felon, and that if I get caught with a gun, or if they even tell the police that I that I used the gun in a certain situation, that I could fucking wind up in serious trouble. They'll wind up looking for it, stuff like that. So luckily, my family and the people who got that 302 warrant to get me put in there understood those things. You know what I mean? They understood what the accusation that I shot at somebody or committed some sort of crime with a gun would do. So instead, they said that, listen, he's just he's a danger to himself. We think he's going to hurt himself or someone else. And that's it. That's why I went in there, and that's what happened while I was there. Let me just say thank you to my friend Dwayne Polizzi. I love you, bro. Polizzi. I'm sorry. I know it's Polizzi, right? I love you, bro. I appreciate you. $100 from my man. He said a little late to the show, but here's appreciation cash. Thank you, bro. And I appreciate you, my man. So that's it, guys. I thought I would tell you that today. I really didn't think it would take an hour and 13 minutes. But that was my experience in there. And that woman that I woke up to that day that was holding my hand, I had some very expensive jewelry that I had bought for my ex, but hadn't given her yet because we wound up breaking up literally the day I bought it. Beautiful jewelry from K Jewelers. It was like a 14 karat gold necklace with a pendant, a teardrop pendant with a heart in it. And it had 2 earrings that were teardrop pendants. They were also 14 karat gold and diamond. Very expensive. Very expensive. The reason for the teardrop, is another story. Me and my ex had gone through somewhat of a tragedy not long before our breakup. That tragedy was also partly the reason why we broke up, I think. But I had bought these teardrop charms, the pendant and the earrings, and there was a reason for it. I had a plan for why I wanted these teardrops for her, but I wound up never giving them to her. So I wrapped them up. I took them back to the hospital. I found this lady, and I gave it to her. I gave her a big hug and thanked her, and I never saw her again. But that's that. So every kiss begins with K. So I hope you guys like that story. I'm gonna regret doing this episode without a doubt. But you know what? I made a decision. I told the story. It is what it is. Remember last year the police came. They tried to 15 me, 5150. I think you meant me due to mob tube. They couldn't believe it. They would never tell me who made the fucking call. I do remember that, Sonny. I remember you messaging me on Instagram about it. Yep. Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. And thank you, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Yes, I listen, till this day, I haven't forgotten that lady. I can see her in my mind. I remember what she looks like. I remember all that stuff. And her holding my hand when I woke up that day might be the only thing that kept me from actually losing my mind while I was in there. So I owed her the way I felt, and I wanted to do something nice for her. Well, thank you, Beck. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Sonny, I know you've been through shit too, man. That's why, listen, I always had a soft spot for Sonny Money. Even when I was pissed off at him and he was trashing me every day. I think Sonny Money is probably a good kid deep down inside, and I always had sympathy for him and stuff when people were fucking with him. Mem Soretti, glad you decided to stay, Chris, and didn't take your life, freedom, or someone else's. Stay strong. Me too. Me too. It's something, the anger and shit that I had is something I held on to for years. For years. A matter of fact, I'll tell you a funny story. Remember I told you guys about New Year's Eve of 2011? Oh, shit, maybe I can't say this. Maybe I can't say this. I got to be careful. Anyway, there's a record of that. There's a record of that. But anyway, I held on to that anger for years. And I wanted somebody to pay for it. Luckily, it never came down to that, and here I am. But yeah, listen, this is the reason I don't believe in God, but I believe that in something personal. I don't know. Maybe we all have a guardian angel of some sort. Maybe thinking that is just as ridiculous as believing in God. I don't know. But I know that, to quote the title of an old movie that my dad used to watch, somebody up there likes me. Okay. I don't know if it's a dead relative. I don't know if it's my brother. I don't know who's looking out for me, but I have made it through things the average person could never fucking imagine. Could never imagine. So looking back on my life, it truly is a miracle. I was always saved just in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, when I went into the hospital in 2014 with the heart thing, and they told me I was going to die that night, they told me if I would have been even 2 hours later to that hospital, I would have died. There's no fucking possible way I would have survived it. The thing in 1999, 64 milligrams of Ativan in a 19-year-old kid who weighed 112 pounds at the time. That's how malnourished I was when I wound up in critical condition in the cardiac intensive care unit. 112 pounds, 64 milligrams of Ativan to put me in a coma. My doctor, who was away at the time, told me after that, that the doctor that ordered that risked my life, but saved it at the same time. She said, "You're lucky you had him and not me, because I would have never taken the chance of putting you in a coma, giving you that much Ativan. But it turns out it's the only thing that saved you." So, you know, I've had some brushes with death, you could say. You know what I mean? So it is amazing. It is truly amazing. That's why when people say to me, "How can you do this mob tube stuff? Doesn't it drive you crazy?" It's nothing. It angers me sometimes. It pisses me off. It makes me sad sometimes, depresses me. But it's nothing I can't handle. There's nothing I can't handle. You know what I mean? I've been through fucking hell and back over and over again. And that's it. You know what I mean? I'm hard to kill. Very hard to kill. Oh, bro. I'll tell you what, man. My brother has some pictures of me right before I went in 99. I will get those pictures and put them up for you. Wait till you see me. You wouldn't even recognize me. Skin and fucking bones, bro. And that was from alcohol. That wasn't even so much the cocaine. When you are that severe of an alcoholic, you burn off your taste buds, you fuck your whole body up, you can't eat. We wound up in Florida. We were at Daytona Beach. I won't get into the reason, but me and some family members were in Daytona Beach in 99, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I went into the hospital, had that seizure. And I was in a hotel and they went to Disney. I couldn't go. I didn't leave that hotel really for the entire, we were there for a while, a couple of weeks, whatever it was. And I didn't leave that hotel once. Well, I did. I mean, I went down to the pool once during a thunderstorm because I was hoping I'd be struck by lightning. True story. The hotel people had to remove me from the pool. I did make an attempt one day to go to Disney with them, but by the time we got there, the withdrawal was so severe, I made them drive me an hour back to the hotel. Long story. But I remember they got donuts one morning, like for breakfast. And one of my family members made me promise that I would eat at least a donut. And when I tell you guys, it took me the entire day. I'm not bullshitting. I would take a bite, but what a lot of people don't know because they've never had this experience. Yes, Miss McGinnis, it is. They've never had this experience. When you don't have taste buds, you cannot eat. I don't care how bad you want to. You can't eat because you can't swallow what you can't taste. Your body just won't let you do it. It's fucking weird. At least that's the way it was for me. I would chew on a piece of a donut for 10 fucking minutes straight just trying to swallow it, and I couldn't do it. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm extremely dehydrated because a little bit of fluid overload from this goddamn heart failure. So I have been taking 80 milligrams of Lasix at a time, and it's dehydrating the shit out of me. Don Berlin. There's a difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is for those who believe in a hell, and spirituality is for those who have been there and come back and have come back and come back. Wow. I never looked at it that way. Very well said, Don Berlin. Yeah, Lasix is no joke, Miss Can't Be Wrong. It's a fucking nightmare sometimes, but he's going to get a donut. You ain't shit, sis. That's why I love you guys, because you're sick like me. You could turn a terrible thing into a funny thing like that. Oh, shit. So here, guys, I'm going to drop the link. If anybody wants to share, please join. Does Shanna still have a show scheduled? I thought I deleted it. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to text Tom Sheehy. Tom Sheehy thought there was a show on Shanna's channel today, thanks to me, because I'm stupid. I thought I deleted it too. I don't know. Maybe he saw it earlier. Let me make sure. Oh my God, is that the one? Wow, she's had a show scheduled since April 17th. Holy shit. I gotta get that I gotta get that out of here. What the fuck? All right, I'll have to delete that. That was, you know what? I think that was my fucking fault too. I think I accidentally clicked on her avatar and fucking scheduled the show. FBS, you ever get any free time, read the Bible, not for religion. Match what the Bible says to what's going on in the world today and your jaw will drop. No, thank you, Sonny. I appreciate the suggestion. I have read the Bible and I won't get into it right now, but I am so... I am such a fucking diehard atheist. You have no idea. There's no chance. Now, I always keep an open mind, but the chances of me ever believing in a God in the world we currently live in is about 1 in a gazillion. I just don't see it happening. I don't. And the Bible, listen, first of all, the Bible was written, what, like 70 years after the events took place, and then rewritten, and then rewritten, and then rewritten, and then rewritten. If I tell you, Sonny Money, a story today, and then you go and tell Gene Borello, and then Gene goes and tells John A. Lake, and then John A. Lake goes and tells Mike Dowd. I'm just using these guys for an example. By the time it gets to Mike, it's a totally different story. You know what I mean? And the things in it that seem to be accurate, as Tony Soflo calls them, calling that book accurate is insane, by the way. But the things that seem to have come true from the Bible, listen, how many things in the Bible are predicted? Okay. You predict enough things, some of them are bound to come true. Or let me tell you, they're not accurate predictions either. You know, it'll say something that a Bible thumper, like say a Bible thumper sees something today that seems similar to some sort of prediction that was made in the Bible. They will interpret it however they want to make it fit an event from today. You know what I mean? So it's, listen, the story of Adam and Eve is insane. The story of Noah's Ark is even crazier. I couldn't do it, but thank you for the suggestion. I know you mean well, Sonny Money. I just can't do it. I know, Bob. I know, bro. It doesn't make sense. FBS, please let it go. I'm dropping it. I'm dropping it. Oh, no. Sonny Money didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. No, Sonny. You didn't do anything wrong, bro. No, it was, listen, it was a kind-hearted suggestion that was, you know, he meant well. It's just not for me, bro. It's not for me. So, nobody joining? A little while ago, they were saying drop the link or something. I assume somebody wanted to join. Yeah, no, and I didn't mean to offend anybody. I just, listen, you know me. You get me started and I say things. That's just how I feel, guys. But if anybody wants to join, Please do. Please do. Share your own story. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to tell us your name. Just come on and tell your story. And, if nobody's comfortable with it, though, it's okay, too. I'll just end the show in a little bit. It's been an hour and a half, but we'll see. Is Sunny Money mad at me now? Shit. Let's see. Thanks, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Facts or Miss McGinnis. That's right. Back. Yeah, I'm good to go. Miss Can't Be Wrong. Knows me. No offense taken, brother, man. All right. Good. Yeah. Bob, you're absolutely right. But yeah, we'll get off that. And don't take it. Listen, usually I would have just said, no thanks, Sunny Money. I'm not really into the Bible thing, and I would have moved on. But lately, even on MobTube, there's a lot of religion talk, and there's a lot of people claiming that I'm an agnostic and not an atheist, stuff like that. It's very weird. So I sometimes I have to, really express myself. Nobody's joining. Sunny Money, why don't you join? Tell us your story. I'll be in pay in 2 hours. I'm super mad. I was suspended last year. I couldn't pull up. Now I can. Oh, that's great. Why don't you come on, bro? Anybody, come on and tell us your story. What the fuck? Oh, all right. Thanks, War. You're going to protect me from Sunny Money? What is going on with Sunny? Why is there? What did I do? Jesus Christ. Did I hurt somebody's fucking feelings? Sunny isn't bothered by it. What did I miss here? Let me see. What the hell is going on? Son of a bitch. Nobody's going to join me today? That sucks. I was hoping somebody would. Well, you can't. All right, it's all good, man. Nobody wants to join. I don't get too many people on here who will share their stories, but that's okay. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you get nervous, whatever. It's people want to be careful, especially with all this shit that goes on MobTube. Yeah, Sunny Money, I'm doing a show tonight for show. 10 o'clock, bro. I hope I see you there. So yeah, I understand why people are apprehensive about coming on and shit. I get it. But listen, at least I got to tell you my story. Hopefully you guys took something from it. I never know how to do these addiction and recovery shows. I never know if I should just talk to the chat, if I should tell my own stories. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I'm trying different things. So bear with me, guys, please. If stories like what I told today are boring, let me know. Email me, whatever. But I'll do different things. You know what I mean? I'll do some where I just talk to the chat and, well, we can even do that now. I'm in no hurry. If you guys want to talk about your issues, even in the chat. Good for you, McKill one. That's a good thing. There was someone earlier. Son of a bitch. Thank you, Chicken Hawkley. I appreciate that. Thank you, War. I don't know a whole lot about the opiates thing, and I know that today that's the biggest issue, I think, as far as addiction. Fucking opiates. That's what's really doing a lot of the damage. I was just watching Ozark. I love that fucking show. I just started watching it a couple days ago. I'm already damn near done with the second season. And There was an episode where the one character who's a heroin dealer, she mixes in a bunch of fentanyl with the dope, and a bunch of fucking like 22 people die. A bunch of people are in critical condition. And it was making me think about that shit. And it makes me think about friends of mine that I lost. You know what I mean? My friend Dora, who just died a couple of years ago, her boyfriend. I had a friend named Damien who died the day after he was at my house. He swore he wasn't doing dope, swore he wasn't doing dope. He came to my house, had a couple of beers with me, did a little coke, and then the next fucking day, I look on Facebook, rest in peace, Damien, so and so. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Fentanyl. Chelsea A. Light now, rest in peace. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how bad of a guy John A. Light may be or may have been. That is a tragedy. She had a little boy. She took, I believe, if I got the story correct, she took what she thought was a Xanax, and it was pressed with fentanyl. It's unfucking believable. It's so goddamn sad. So sad. You know, I tell my kids, don't take anything from anyone. If you're at a friend's house and you have a headache, don't take a Tylenol. Don't take anything unless you bought it from the store. It was sealed, okay, and it belongs to you. You can't take anything. Yeah, definitely. What's wrong, War? The hell's going on? FBS, everybody knows your stance on it by now, but I always said you had divine intervention. Either that or you're the luckiest man ever and should play lottery. FBS recovery shows are important. Johnny the Greek, listen, I agree. That's why I say I always keep an open mind. I personally don't believe it's the God that we have read about in the Bible. I think if there's anything, my opinion is maybe we have guardian angels, or maybe it's the universe, maybe it's just energy, maybe it's luck. I don't know. But I'm definitely one of those people who I should have been dead at 19 and I lived. I should have been dead at 26 and I lived. I should have been dead at 34 and I lived. You know what I mean? And even the fact that I'm doing as well as I am today is nothing short of a miracle. Nothing short of a fucking miracle. The fact that I can function the way I do. You know, my heart was down to 10 to 15%. And I brought it back up over years to 55%. My mother's heart is currently at 10 to 15%. That's something that's on my mind all day, every day. And my mother is 70. I was 34, 35 when I had that issue. She is 70. So there's not a day that goes by that I don't worry about her. Not a minute that goes by. That's why I try to spend as much time with her as possible. And I love the fact that she lives here. Oh, okay, War. That's how Prince died. Took what he thought was a Watson brand hydrocodone pill, but was actually counterfeit fentanyl. Jesus Christ. Wow. You know, I never looked that much. I knew, you know, he OD'd, but I didn't know that he thought it was something different. Jesus. Is fentanyl poison or is it so strong and cheap? I don't know how to answer that. I mean, it's poison in, you know, certain doses, and everybody's different. Like I might be able to take a certain amount of fentanyl and be fine, and that same dose might kill you or somebody else. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. That's why, like, I had friends. I had a friend named Scott. This kid, man, he was taking fucking. It wasn't even fentanyl. I don't think. But it goes to show you how people's tolerances work and shit. When he went into jail, he was taking fucking oxy like it was fucking potato chips by the handful. You know what I mean? This kid could handle anything. He got out of jail and stayed clean for a couple of weeks and then decided to use again. And I guess he thought his tolerance was still the same. So he took a few and he died. You know what I mean? It's just, It's a scary thing, man. Opiates, like, holy shit. I have sympathy for any fucking buddy who is addicted to them or has a loved one who's addicted to them. I mean, it is a fucking nightmare from what I can see. An absolute nightmare. I couldn't imagine. I don't know. It's scary. I think Shanna is a huge reason you were on the straight and narrow. Oh my God. That's why I call her my angel. That's what I refer to her as every day. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I told Shanna, we were talking a little while ago about how great things are and how good we're doing. And I said, you realize that you're the reason for this, right? Like, if I didn't meet you when I did and we didn't start our relationship when we did, I wouldn't be here anymore. There's no way. I wouldn't be alive. If I was alive, I wouldn't have my freedom. I'd be locked up somewhere. Or possibly, in the fucking street doing my usual thing. And when it comes to that, you're just one step away from a cell or a cemetery at all times anyway. So, yeah, Shanna is my angel. She saved my fucking life. There's no doubt about it. That's another example of how I know that either somebody's looking out for me or I'm just a lucky motherfucker. Because I wouldn't be living the life I am now without her. There's no fucking way. And no, it's not about finances. It's not about money. It's about her, having her, being with her, seeing her face every day. You know what I mean? Keeps me happy. Crack and heroin was what destroyed my youth. Coke and weed was a starter and led to crack and heroin for 30 years. I was in hell and didn't know it. 5 years clean and I still get cravings. Wow, Johnny. Well, I'm glad you're doing well and congrats on 5 years, bro. A lot of sad stories in here. Thank you, Miss McGinnis. Yeah, I worry about her constantly. It was nice. We all went to dinner yesterday. I took everybody to dinner and we all got to talk and reminisce and have fun. It was nice. I promise that when I get the hell out of there, get decent bandwidth, I commit to coming on to share my story, the story of my rock filled road littered with potholes. It's a promise. I can't wait, Dumberlin. That'll be awesome. And I'm glad to see you here. I haven't heard from you. Glad you're okay. Every bag or poke has a different amount of fentanyl. So one pill might get you high, the next might kill you. There's no rhyme or reason. It's Russian roulette with your life. Yeah, it is. FPS, tremendous man and lovely wife. Thank you, bro. Here they use caffeine to mix with heroin and cocaine. They use para. Really? Holy shit. I never even heard of that. FBS, that happens to many people. I know someone who got out of rehab. His girlfriend picked him up and they stopped at a gas station bathroom. He overdosed in the gas station bathroom. It's a goddamn shame. Miss McGinnis, you both look so in love. I see it in your pictures. Oh, we are. We are. That's one thing I know. You know what I mean? And we've been together, it'll be 4 years in June. You know what I mean? So it's been great. I don't know. I say it all the time. I don't know what the fuck I did to deserve the life I have today, but I don't believe that I deserve the life I have today. I really don't. I almost have guilt over it. When I see people who have struggled with the same things as me, but they're in a different position now, like they're lonely or they're still using or, they have no place to go or they have no money, it breaks my heart. And I have a little bit of, I guess you could call survivor's guilt in a way, because I don't know how the fuck I'm still walking the earth. And I certainly don't know how I wound up in the position I am today. Or the position I'm in today. But like I said, either somebody up there likes me or I'm really, really lucky. Really, really lucky. Because with the things I've done in my past, I do not deserve to have a good life. I absolutely do not. I'll be the first to admit it. And maybe that's why the people hate me. The people that hate me Maybe that's why they hate me, because they look at me as a piece of shit who doesn't deserve to have a good life, and they're pissed off that I do. In a way, I agree with them. I don't really deserve to have a good life. I don't. But somehow I do. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. FBS shows like this make you realize all that mob tube stuff is bullshit. Grown men acting like junior high schoolers, and the rats that were actually fucked up people. Not all, but most. I agree, bro. I agree. It definitely does put things into perspective. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I wish I could just do this. I wish I could just do this. I don't know if it's sustainable. You know what I mean? Because I don't even like to if people donate during addiction and recovery shows, I'm not, that's fine. I'm not going to turn it down. I appreciate it, but I don't ask for donations on addiction and recovery shows. I don't think I ever have, and I certainly never will. I don't put my Cash App, PayPal, Venmo information in the description. I don't put it in the chat like I do at my regular shows. I don't mention donations. So I wish I could just do this alone for my YouTube channel, but I don't know how I would pull that off. You know what I mean? I don't know how. But you're right too, Francis. Grown men acting like junior high schoolers, and yeah, I know. It is absurd. Women too. War, the coolest thing I was ever told by a woman at FBS. I don't want money or things. I just want you. Still floors me. Yeah, bro. That's a hell of a woman right there. And I'm sorry, War, for your loss. Do you get frustrated? Sometimes I do, all the time. Faith is a bit like when you have your first ecstasy. You can't wait to share that buzz with someone else. Faith is the same, but can't force it. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. You were saying that to War. But yeah, it's no, I understand that people, especially if their faith has brought them happiness or something, they get excited. They want to share it with other people and see them, you know, start to have that same faith, and you want to see it help them. But with a guy like me, I am quite sure it is frustrating because I am steadfast in my beliefs or non-beliefs. Pretty sure Mac Miller died in a similar fashion, got counterfeit fentanyl, thinking it was Percocet or something. Yeah, that's what I heard. Mikhail one, much respect to Shanna and nurses in general. They are very underappreciated, in my opinion. Oh, extremely, extreme. I'm telling you, I've been in the hospital a lot. In my lifetime, I've probably spent, a month and a half. If you add all the time together, that's a lot of time for, especially for a person who's 43 and never even had a broken fucking bone. That's a lot of time. And let me tell you, it ain't the doctors in there taking care of you. It's the nurses. The nurses are everything. People who refuse to change homes deserve the result. Wait a minute. Let me start at the beginning. The willingness to change provided you where you are. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I was, ready as well. You know what I mean? Willing and ready to fucking to make changes. I don't know if that means I deserve anything I have, but yeah, definitely not a business model. This is a sole pay forward model, but there is a two deal, and you do good. I don't. Sometimes your slang, I don't know. You do good work here. You get the energy to survive on Looney Tube. Looney Tube. I like that. Holy shit. Don Berlin. This guy's the fucking man. Looney Tube. This is the place where you get fuel. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There is a part of me, I think, that needs conflict and shit like that. I live for it. You know what I'm saying? That's why anytime somebody does a show about me, it used to make me cringe. Now it's like, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll be live shortly. Is that my Shanna? baby. Come say hello. If you can get around Rusty. Look at this beauty.
Hello, MobTube Familia. How are you?
There she is. It's been a while. Shanna doesn't come on that often anymore. What are you getting ready to do?
Hello, my friend. I miss you.
We were just talking about nurses and how important they are. We were talking about you. I told them that without my Shanna, I would not be here anymore. I told them that you are my angel.
Thank you, baby. I was talking about my husband to this young kid yesterday. I felt very sorry for him. So I'll tell you the story.
You can tell it now?
Okay, no.
No, go ahead. I'll go to the bathroom real quick. You fucking doing me a favor. I'll even let you take this chair.
Okay.
Be right back, guys.
So, friends, the seat is really warm. Hello. So, I was at work yesterday and this young kid came in and I like to hear people's stories. What brought them to where they are. And since this is addiction and recovery, so this young kid was sick in the morning coming off heroin. And, we have subs, so gave him some subs and he started talking and said, I was like, well, how long have you been doing this? So he said 4 years. Now, this kid isn't even 30 yet. He said, I've lost everything. He said, I went to war, killed people. People killed my friends. I got blown up. I have a TBI and was married, divorced, had a house, lost my house. And he turned to heroin for 4 years. Now he's completely disabled from the military. And during this, he went to school, has I don't know, maybe a bachelor's, I'm not really sure, but thank you. During his heroin addiction, he was able to get a degree in like filmmaking of some sort. And he said nobody would have known. He didn't nod out, this and that. But his addiction was so bad, by the end, he was either snorting or shooting 50 bags a day. He has no clothes, no place to live, and all of his disability check and the money that the military gave him to go to school was all spent on heroin. Which to me is very sad. This kid, you could tell he was just broken. His parents were both addicts. Growing up, I guess he has a younger sibling, but growing up, he remembers one winter his mom had OD'd outside in the snow, and he had to put on his dad's boots and run out and try to wake her up in the snow, but also protect his little sister while his dad was nodding off in the house and call 911. Now, luckily, she's clean, and I guess they have a close relationship. Obviously, she's terrified for her child, but this kid is just ready to die. He doesn't really like see any future because of where he is. And so we sat there and talked and cried, and I felt really bad for him. But he had this like hope that where he was, or where he is right now, was going to be the answer. He did not want to go back to what he was doing. And he thought that this place was going to be like the start of, something better. So later on that day, he comes back in, and can tell he's like a little off. He reminds me of one of those people that tries to make jokes or be the clown to hide what he's really feeling, and he's always trying to make people laugh to cover up like his hurt. Well, hello there. So he sits down and starts saying that they're going to kick him out, and he can only stay there to detox. So he starts crying because he knows that if he leaves there, he's going to die. Sorry.
Okay, baby.
Sorry.
Take your time. All right.
Yeah. So this young kid that has an entire life ahead of him, somebody that went to war and, protected people over here while he's still a child, and watched his friends die and kill people and be, blown up and almost dead himself. Now has to have the one little bit of hope to survive be taken from him because of the same people that he was part of to protect us. Because you're only allowed to detox after you've been shooting up 50 bags of dope a day. So in a couple days, when he's made to leave because of this situation. He already knows the outcome. And it's not because he's weak or given up on himself, but because somebody took one more thing from him.
Jesus. You all right, baby?
Yeah.
Thank you for telling that story.
So it's hard when you see children and you know that they can do so much and have a good life. But when you sit there and talk to them, one little thing that doesn't seem big at all, just to be able to stay somewhere for, in a month, can be, the answer to somebody living or dying. And knowing that no matter what you say, if he leaves there, you know you're talking to somebody that's going to die. When he might not have to.
Is there anything we could do to help him?
I honestly don't know. I see people every day. And they all, have their struggles. And I've been a nurse for a really long time. But there's some that, really hit you. And you can, see that they actually want to get better. And people take that from them. So.
You all right, baby? See, guys, she's all heart.
So, yeah. It sucks.
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't want this to upset you.
It's okay.
It's hard for her to talk about these things. She tells me a lot of these stories.
I'm in the king's chair.
I'm in the queen's chair.
That would be great if you could do that, Don Berlin.
What?
Send you some information.
Oh, it would be. It would be. If anybody knows of any resources or any way we can help. What's up, buddy?
So
You guys gotta go.
I wanted to get a new battery for my car.
Is that where you're going?
They said they can put it in.
Where are you going?
Advanced Auto Parts.
Okay. I fucking love her, guys. All right, baby, you can go if you have to.
Don Berlin, I will there's more to this story, and I will tell Christopher so he can tell you the other part. I don't want to say it on here. But thank you, everyone. Yes. No, I have an automatic starter, and it won't start because the battery, I guess they only are good for like 3 to 5 years. And it was good for 5 years. But I don't like to get in a cold car in the morning. Okay, everyone.
You need me to come with you?
If you want to.
If you're gonna give me a few minutes, I will.
All right, Mob Tube Familia. Now that I messed up my makeup.
Still look great, baby. All right.
Thank you, everyone. I miss you guys. Maybe I'll see you later.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I know this has nothing to do with addiction and recovery, but I have this YouTube channel that I watch a lot called That Chapter.
Is there a good one on today?
Well, I listened to the story about Sherry Shriner. And do you know what her story reminds me of?
What?
Slob Tube. And I want to do a comparison. Sherry Shriner is like Angel Gotti. And everything, that's what we're going to do tonight.
You want to talk about that tonight, huh? All right.
All right, friends. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for listening to my story.
I'll be right there, guys.
Love you all.
All right, guys. That was a surprise, wasn't it? That's my beautiful Shanna. See, I'm in love with her heart. She is an amazing woman. I'm a truly lucky man. She is an absolute sweetheart. And her only goal in life is to try to help people. And that's the woman you just saw. That's the woman that they like to slander and lie about. That's the woman they want to get fired from her job. That's the woman whose life they want to ruin. That's the woman who they just make up lie after lie about, and they like to attack in groups. That's Shanna. See why I will defend her with my life? Midwest Mafia Productions, thank you so much, bro, for the $20 super sticker. Thank you. KMAC, $14.99. Here's my donation to maybe help Shanna to help this kid. Oh, that's awesome, KMAC. Okay, listen, maybe there's something we could figure out. Who knows? I'm going to ask if there's anything me and her can do, just me and Shanna, financially to help him. We'll see. Dave, $10, Semper Fi. Salute to you, bro. And thank you for your service. And thank you for the $10. War, that's very nice of you. She is. She is an angel. Oh, yeah, Mikhail won. She tells me these stories, some very sad stories. Let me see something. I don't see anything. Don Berlin, I was actually able to place 2 vets, same story, battlefield to the bottle. Oh, really? Well, listen, Don, maybe we can talk later. Miss McGinnis, yeah, I don't see anything in my email. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't get it yet. My son, mom, not my wife, was a nurse at an old folks' home and would come home crying sometimes because her patients would die during her shift. They were old and there was nothing she could do. Stay up, Shanna. Well, Shanna's dealt with that, but something else she deals with is she has worked in all types of drug and alcohol treatment programs. And she's worked with many people. Like one time she worked in a women's facility. She gets very close to some of these patients, as all nurses do. And I know that one of the girls that she was very, very close with, I believe, left early, and within days, she was gone. So Shanna has a lot of pain that she deals with from her job. So again, isn't it nice of those people over there to make up claims about sex tapes and fucking, BBCs, all this horse shit, try to get her fired from her job? Isn't that nice of them? They want to get that woman that you just saw, who's all heart. They want to get her fired from her job. Why? Because they don't like me. This particular facility is actually down in Florida, but they have beds available in a number of facilities that VA sponsors. Good to know, Don. Please let me know. Miss McGinnis, it's not there. Where the hell is it? I don't see anything. I love my auto start. Yeah, Shanna has been trying to use it the last couple of days. It's not working. So we are going to get her a new battery. I did not know she already made plans to do this, but that's Shanna. Thank you, Jesse Roth. She does. She is a gorgeous woman. Thank you for that, Miss McGinnis. Uh, Mikhail won. Yes, that was very nice of her to share that, and I know it wasn't easy. Don Berlin, in essence, if VA does not have a bed for a patient, they have a contract through this foundation. They will place them in a bed somewhere in the country. It's kind of like what Chris went through. Good to know, Don. I look forward to hearing more about it. She is FBI. Very special. And thank you. Mikhail one, they are really the king and queen of MobTube for a reason. Thank you, Mikhail one. My wife works in sort of a similar field, and I ask her not to tell me about some of the stories, especially with children. Yeah, sometimes Shanna tells me ones that just a minute or two into it, I'm like, maybe you shouldn't, but I want to hear her out. That lets you know how jealous these incel losers are on SlobTube are. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Tony Ducks, FBS, don't know if you're interested, but that Anthony Ruggiano started an addiction hotline or something like that. Maybe you can talk to Gene, it's his cousin, and do something with him. Just a thought. Wow, I didn't know that, Tony Ducks, but thank you for letting me know. Maybe I will. Dana, the Smith's Haunted Ghost Tube, new member. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. Chris, I shall. Let me get the contact details as I learned of them via the Loudoun County Men's Sober Home in Leesburg, Virginia. All right, bro. Thank you again, Don. I appreciate you. Nobody cares your life, bro. LOL. Why don't you low lives worry about your own problems? What? Wow. I'm telling you, aren't they the worst fucking people you could ever imagine? You don't know what we're talking about on here, stupid ass, especially the last like 15 minutes. We're literally, all right, forget it. I hope you fucking die, you scumbag piece of dog shit. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Mia. Unfortunately, we're ending the show. I'm going to take Shanna now. We're going to get a new battery. So thank you guys for everything, for being here. I hope my story, I don't know, I hope it could help in some way or make people understand that other people have been through horrible things as well. And you can absolutely make it through and bounce back and have a life you could have never dreamed of, because that's what I was able to do. And thank you to my beautiful wife for sharing that story with us. I'm going to go make sure she's okay now. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, everyone who donated. Dwayne, my man, your support and donations mean the world to me. I appreciate you. Everyone else who donated, you guys are the best. I'll be back on tonight at 10 o'clock. Maybe Shannon will be joining me. We'll see. I love you all. Listen, guys, before I leave, I always do this. See this on the bottom, National Addiction Hotline. Write that number down. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Write that number down, 988. Easy to remember. I don't think you even have to write that one down. And as it says, please stay strong and continue on your road to recovery. If anybody ever needs anything that I can help you with, anything, I don't care what it is, reach out to me. I will do my very, very best to help you in any way I can. I've said it before. If you need a ride to a facility, I don't care where you live, let me know. I'll figure it out for you. If there's anything I can do for you as far as resources, if you're just not healthy enough to find some sort of rehab or detox, any type of facility, to get help, and I can help you do that, I'll gladly research, find out about your area, what programs are there to help you financially, places you might be able to get into, whatever I could do, guys. That's what I'm here for. I promise you I'll always stand by that. So if you need me for anything, fatbalditalian@gmail.com. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you for everything. And until next time, salute. I will, FBI. I absolutely will. All right, peace, guys.